There are two functions in DAX to check whether a table contains a row with specific values. They are contains and CONTAINSROW. Contains requires the table to search into as the first argument, and then a set of pairs of arguments. The first is the column you want to search into, and the second is the value you want to search for. CONTAINSROWS has a slightly simpler syntax because it only requires the table and the values you want to search for, but you will need to specify a value for each column of the table. Let's see that with a couple of examples. In this first measure, customers without stores, I'm checking the number of customers that live in a city where there are no stores. And to do that, I filter the customer, and for each customer, I check if the store table contains a row where the store country region is equal to the customer country region. The first column, store country region, is the column you want to search into, and the second is customer country region is the value you want to search for. And I only provide the columns that I'm interested to check. Contains returns true if such a row exists. You see from the result, there are 3.6 thousand customers in Australia and 3.5 live in a city where there are no stores. CONTAINSROW is a bit simpler in terms of syntax, but you need to provide one value for each column you want to look at. So I'm using again filter over customer. I'm checking not CONTAINSROW, and I only provide the values of the customer table, so customer country region and customer city. But I need to provide one value for each column of the table. That is why I use summarize store by country region and city in order to build out of the store table a different table that only contains the country region and the city, because I will need to provide one value for each column in the table. The matching between the values provided and the columns in the table is made by position. The first value needs to match the first column in the table, the second value, the second column, and so on. CONTAINSROW is not very commonly used because most people prefer to use the in operator, which provides a simpler syntax. In is internally translated into CONTAINSROW. Let's see again that with an example. I'm filtering the customer where the tuple city state is present in the table containing New York, New York, or Columbus, Ohio. The in operator checks if this table, the one that I create with curly brackets, contains a row that is equal to the city and the state. Actually, in is internally translated into CONTAINSROW. So this is equivalent to writing filter customer where the table New York, New York, and Columbus, Ohio contains a row that is equal to the customer city and the customer state. Because the in syntax is easier to read and understand, it's very common to prefer to use the in syntax instead of CONTAINSROW.